Good afternoon to everybody. Welcome into my craft room here at Handmade at Home. I'm Sally Bowman and I'm so happy that you could join me this Friday afternoon. I'm hoping that everything is sounding okay, but it doesn't look like there's anybody there just yet, so I will have to wait and get some reassurance from you when somebody joins in. I will, however, find myself over on my iPad, and then at least I can keep an eye on things from there. I can also see your comments over there. So let's just check. Yes, it looks like I'm there. Have I turned the volume down? Yes, I have, because you definitely don't need me in stereo. I'm just moving some glue out of the way. Right, let's pop that where I can see it. All right, I think we're there. I tidied my desk earlier and I'm not convinced about where I've got things. I also discovered an awful lot of dust on it underneath all my little boxes that hold bits and pieces. I don't do as much housework as I'm sure many people do, because frankly I'd rather be crafting, and I don't do very much housework at all in my craft room, because if I come in here I want to be crafting. There's a bit of a theme going on here. So anyway, yes, I've moved a few things around. Time will tell as to whether or not I like them and whether I can reach for them quickly when I need them. So it looks like there's a few people join me, which is brilliant. So if you are here, do say hello and let me know if you can see and hear me okay. My internet dropped out a couple of times about 20 minutes ago, so I'm really hoping it's going to behave and everything will be well this afternoon. But if there are any issues, I will just get back live as quickly as I can. So stay where you are, refresh your screen, and fingers crossed I will be there. But hopefully nothing will go wrong and it will all be absolutely fine. Hi Sandy, lovely to have you there. Can you let me know, Sandy, can you see and hear me okay? That would be helpful to know. So in a little while I'm going to be talking to you about the new and very beautiful fitting Florets collection, but I've just got a couple of things to say before then. Thank you, Andriana. Hello to you too, and thank you very much for letting me know it's okay. And Sandy saying looking and sounding great. Fantastic. Thank you, Sandy. It's been an extremely busy week, so if I'm looking great, then that's that's a bonus. I'm looking forward to my weekend. Let me know what your plans are for the weekend. I'm actually going to a party tomorrow night. I almost never go to parties now. When I was a student, I was at least one party a week, often 2 or 3 of them, but one a month would be more than enough for me now, and it certainly isn't as many as those that I actually go to. But I am going to a party for my brother-in-law at the weekend to celebrate his 60th birthday, so I'll be seeing my family, which will be great. Some of you know I'm the eldest of 4 children, and fingers crossed, one of my sisters will definitely be there. She's throwing the party, and my other sister will be there too, and I'm hoping my brother is going to be there too, along with assorted, you know, husbands and children as well, hopefully as well. So it's going to be really nice to get together with friends and family. I'm looking forward to that. And on Sunday I'm actually attending a class as a participant rather than running a class, which is always a treat. Just to do some crafting for me. So I've got a very nice weekend lined up. At some point I shall have to do some ironing and hoovering, but we won't dwell on that. Okay, anything else? No other comments that I need to make note of. All right, so not very much to tell you about the world of Stampin' Up at the moment. It's all gone very quiet, because On Stage, which is our big convention event, is coming up very, very soon. It's being held in Vienna this year. So everybody in Europe is invited to that one, and anybody from further afield if they wish to come. But for demonstrators in other areas of the world, they will be having their own one-day events. I'm not actually travelling to Vienna. I wish I was, but I'm not. So I will be looking forward to seeing the online recorded version afterwards, which will give me loads of information. The new spring mini catalogue is going to be launched. The new celebration brochure will be launched. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing some new products soon. So Andriana, yes, I probably just answered that question. No, I'm not attending the live one. I am booked on to the recorded version of it though, which I'm very much looking forward to. Not too much time to wait for that. I need to say a huge thank you to any of you who have supported me over the last year, whether you are customers or my absolutely fantastic team. I know some of you have seen this already on Facebook, but just in case you haven't, Stampin' Up announced their awards because the Stampin' Up year ended at the end of September, and I was totally staggered and delighted to be listed as number 12 in the UK. So thank you very much to all those of you who made that possible. In my wider team, which I'm a member of, I was also number 1 in that, which is truly astonishing. So I'm still on a bit of a high. I love what I do, and to be recognised as being good at it is a very special thing indeed. So a huge thank you to all of you. Right, I'm sorry if you can hear the dog in the background. I'm not quite sure what she's barking at, but something has upset her anyway. All right, so the only class that I can offer you to book at the moment is December's Fancy Fold Cards class. So I'm booking for that now. I'm going to cough, excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. And you have until the 18th of November to book for that one. My December card class, officially the booking's closed today, but actually that class is jam-packed full, so I can't take any more bookings. So unless you've already sent me your email, it's too late, unfortunately, although it's a nice position to be in. My class list for next year will be out as soon as I can do it. I have an all-day class, my Christmas extravaganza, a week on Saturday, which is keeping me very busy at the moment. But after that, I will be starting to look ahead to next year, and I will get that class list ready and out to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, Antriana. That's very kind of you. I appreciate your congratulations. All right, I think it's probably time to turn the screen down to my desk. I need something to cover you over so you don't get motion sick, and this time I will do my best to remember to press that magic button that makes me up the right way when you see me again. So bear with me, and I will just move everything around. And I apologise again if you can still hear the dog. I'm not sure what she's upset about. It's probably some pigeons on the patio or something like that. She's not very keen on large birds, so they get her very aerated. Okay, so we'll see how this looks. I will move things around a little bit so you can see a bit more. Let's get some cables out of the way. There we go. Little clip on that, clip on that. Right, I think that is better. Okay, my cup of tea here at the front. Let's just make sure I'm not going to knock into that. All right then, the Fitting Florets Collection. So there are lots and lots of things in this, and I did actually write out a list, and I've got some stamped bits and pieces to show you in a moment. However, let me just show you the goodies first. I haven't got everything in the collection, but it is all available to buy now. So there is a beautiful stamp set, framed florets, and there is a big set of dies, which you can get them separately, or you can buy them as a bundle together and save yourself 10%. There we are. And for the first time, Stampin' Up are calling the stamp set and the die set the same thing. So this is the framed florets stamps and the framed florets dies, which actually I think is going to be a lot easier to remember. These are going to be in the new spring mini catalogue, so you can get them now, and you will also be able to get them right through until the end of that catalogue. So I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of these. They are absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be making some projects with them with you, and I've got some other projects to show you as well, some completed projects. Let me show you these in more detail, and then I'll tell you everything else that's in the collection. The stamps are photopolymer stamps, so they are clear stamps. They're very easy to use because you can see exactly where you're positioning them, and Photopolymer stamps are cheaper to produce, so they tend to absolutely cram the sheet of stamps with images and sentiments, so you often get more stamps for your money with photopolymer than you do with red rubber stamps. So there are 13 stamps in this set, and I've stamped them all out here to show you, and I'll lift this up just a little bit so you can see it in a bit more detail. So the stamp set is £22. You've got this beautiful garland here. You've got a double flower image here, and these are all lovely to colour in, all the images. A leaf spray, a large and a smaller flower, a little spriggy piece, and then a little piece with 2 leaves on it there. So 7 floral and leafy image stamps there. There's lots of detail on them. They're beautiful line work images. They look really nice just stamped as they are, but if you want to colour them in, they're gorgeous coloured in as well. And then the words, just a little reminder that you are loved, celebrate, wishes for a beautiful birthday, thank you with all my heart, for a special person on a special day, and so lucky to call you friend. And the fonts are a mixture of a modern looking block font and this really lovely loopy but very legible kind of handwritten font, and I'm a bit of a sucker for a mixture of these blocks and handwritten fonts, so I do really like those. So that's the stamp set. Then the die set, you can see there are lots and lots of these open images, so all the flower and leaf shapes here will cut out, so you've got a die for each of those, and then you've also got some additional dies here which will cut out leaves that you can use independently, so they don't have a matching stamp. And then you've also got 3 different frame dies, and you get lots and lots of pieces when you cut these out, which you can also mix and match. So let me move those across and show you what I've done with them. So first of all, these are the stamped images which I've cut out, and then these are the ones which don't have a stamped image that matches with them, but you can cut them out independently. Now you can get the dies on their own. Let me just try and get that all in. I think that's about there. You can get the dies on their own for £35. But the bundle of stamps and dies, because you're saving that 10%, is £51.25. Personally, I would definitely go for the 2. If you like the stamps, then do your best to get the dies, because the dies are fantastically versatile. So you can see these, cut these out beautifully. I love these images, or not images, that's the wrong word, isn't it? These shapes here. And when I'm cutting these out, I'm always popping adhesive sheet on the back of the card. We've got that in the catalogue. It's like a sheet of double-sided adhesive. So you pull off the backing paper from one side, stick your card onto the adhesive, and then you cut your shapes, and then they've become stickers effectively, because you just peel off the backing and stick them down. And with these very delicate shapes, it's so easy to stick them down if they already have adhesive on them. And then the frames as well, I've cut these out and I've done a bit of mix and matching as well to show you. So let me pull in the appropriate die. So this die here just looks like that on the back, but let me show you the business side of it. So this cuts out all these little heart shapes in an oval. It doesn't actually cut out an oval on its own, a separate oval. It just cuts out lots and lots of little hearts. So it's a very pretty frame, and of course you do get lots and lots and lots and lots of these very sweet little heart shapes that you can either glue down or you can use them in shaker cards, so they are particularly cute. So that's that oval. Then this die gives you this frame, and at the same time it cuts out the center, so you get kind of 2 for the price of 1. And I don't know if it will show up, but there are embossed lines around the edge of this cut out oval. I don't think they're really showing up very well. Hopefully you can see them on one of my projects later. So that has got an embossed frame around it, and of course you can cut the frame from one colour. Foil looks stunning with the frame cut from it. You could then cut it again from white or vanilla card. You can stamp on the oval, and then you can pop the oval in there, and then straight away you've got a two-coloured frame effect for your projects. And here you can see I've started to layer ovals. I'm going to show you that one again in just a minute, because first I want to show you the third oval die, which is this one. And this has ridges around it there, and it also has ridges around the centre. So there's a lot of embossing happening with this frame, and here I've cut it for you. Again, I'm hoping that you'll be able to see the texture on that. I picked a dark green so that it showed up really well against the white card, but I don't think I've picked the right colour to show the embossing. So the frame that's cut out, so the die cuts out the separate frame and oval. So you've got all the embossings on the frame, and then this is a completely plain oval. Now, of course, you can cut your ovals and then just use the centerpieces for layering and matting on anything. You can put images on here, you can put sentiments on here, and then you can just start to layer things up. So this here, I've used the heart die on a layer of dark green. Then I've cut this die from white card, and I've added that frame around it. And then I've cut it again from soft sea foam, and I've just used that centerpiece to drop into the frame. And that's just one way that you can mix and match these frames. So they are absolutely fantastic. Kay is here. Hello, Kay. It's lovely to have you. Welcome, welcome. Sandy's saying she bought the bundle and she loves them, and she's just ordered a Joyful Flurry bundle after seeing my beautiful cards. Well, thank you, and I'm very pleased. I know you're going to love the snowflake cards. I used that last week, and they are absolutely beautiful. The other thing to say is that, let me put a piece of coloured card down. You are with this die, once you've cut it out of your white card, you are then left with an oval aperture, which of course means that you can use your negative piece, if you like, the piece that your frames have come out of, as another layer on your card. So hugely versatile, these dies. When I start working with them in a minute, you'll see even more what I mean. I'm just going to pop them back in the box because there are a lot of them and I don't want to lose any. There we are. Let's pop those back in. So you can get them separately or you can get them bundled with the stamps, and you have 13 dies in there, 13 stamps and 13 dies. There is also some absolutely gorgeous paper, and I'm just wondering what I've done with it. Famous last words, here it is. Now, I've only got one pack of this paper, and as you can see I have cut into it already. So for a couple of the designs I've only got small pieces left to show you. And actually this is the wrong part. This is the wrong pile of paper. Hold on a minute, let me go over the other side of my room. There we are. I'm nothing if not professional. That's why it didn't look right on my desk when I was looking at it. All right, so this is a pack of our standard designer series paper. So it's £11.25. There are 12 sheets in the pack. There are 6 double-sided designs and you get 2 sheets of each design. So let me show you them. Now they all have a floral or a leafy theme on one side, and then there are patterns and different things on the back. I love this gingham. This one I think is quite a festive print. More on the festiveness of this in just a minute. And then on the other side we've got this pretty pink pattern. Polished pink is my favourite pink. Here is a much smaller scale all over print. This is very pretty. and a pattern on the back. This reminds me of knitwear. I'm not quite sure why. This pattern, one of the dies cuts out some of these flowers. Let me pull out the right die. So the one that cuts out this image here with the two flowers on it will also cut out the similar image on this paper here, for instance. It will cut out that, and it will also cut out the pale pink version here. So the larger clusters on here you can cut out by hand, but you have got a die to cut out the ones that just have two flowers. So that's a bonus, I think. On the back of that, we've got an all over blue and white pattern, which is a similar design. If I can find it, it's this design, but scaled down. And then the other two designs I only have bits of, I'm afraid, because I've used them. So there's this one here. I cut this one up for my team. When we have our next team meeting, we do a lot of crafting at that. That's coming up, and I've just sent out quite a lot of this pattern of paper to my team. And on the back of that is a very pretty little kind of ditzy floral and leaf pattern. And I've got even less of this one left because I used this at my card class yesterday. So this has got a green leafy pattern and then a very bold blue and green and white pattern on the back. Oh, Belinda, there's a leaf that the dies cut out too. Do they really, Belinda? Let me have a look at that. Is that on the same one? Oh, yes, I bet it is. Do you know, I'd missed that. I bet it's this one. Or is it? I was thinking it was going to be this leaf, but that doesn't fit that. So tell me which one it is, Belinda, if you can. That's not easy to explain, but I would like to know that. I'm just flicking through these other papers and trying to see which one it is. Oh, well, that's very exciting, isn't it? Hopefully Belinda can shed a little bit of extra light on that. So Kay loves the set and had to buy it, and Antriana says, do the dies cut out the flowers in the DSP? So hopefully I've answered that for you, Antriana. I'm just waiting for Belinda to tell me which leaf it is that the dies cut out, because I can't immediately see that, but I'm hoping that she will tell me and then I can show you. All right, now there are 5 different things in this collection. I've shown you 3. I've shown you the paper and I've shown you the framed florets, stamps and dies. There is also the framed and festive stamp set, which fits your oval dies. It's scaled the same way, but it's all Christmas greetings. And actually, I've already said that some of these papers are really quite festive. This one I think is festive in particular. This one is very festive. And depending on how you choose to stamp your flowers, sorry, I've got so many bits on my desk, I'm trying to find them, and how you stamp these and colour these, a lot of these can be very, very festive as well. So the paper is great. It's a real crossover. It will last you all year. The framed and festive stamp set has got Christmas greetings, and there are also gold adhesive backed swirls. Now, when I ordered my stamps and dies, those hadn't yet made it into our warehouse. They have now arrived and they're available, but I haven't got any to show you, I'm afraid. I should point out that although this is going to be available in the catalogue after Christmas, as well as being available now, the paper I've just shown you, the Christmas greetings stamp set and the gold swirl embellishments will only be available while stocks last and until the 4th of January at the latest. So once the new spring mini catalogue launches, then those 3 items won't be available. So if you really like them, then I would strongly suggest you get them now. I'll leave this here just in case anybody wants to either take a screenshot or note anything down. This has got everything written down on it. If you love it all, as one of my customers did yesterday, you can order the whole collection. You'll get everything then, both sets of stamps, the dies, the papers and the swirls. Okay, so let's do some crafting, shall we? I've got two projects that I thought I would make with you. One uses just the stamp set, and the other is a little bit more intricate. And I'm just going to drink some tea. Okay, so this is going to make a small square card. This is a 4-inch square card. I've cut it in balmy blue, and let's pop the measurements there for you. So my balmy blue piece is 8 inches by 4 inches, and it's scored at 4 inches to make a small square card. I have a layer of contrast card. This is Pear Pizzazz, which is a lovely soft green. And this is 3 5/8 square. Now that's a funny measurement. If you preferred, you could make it 3 3/4, and that would be fine. But I wanted a really narrow border, so I've cut it to 3 5/8. But my white pieces are 3 1/2 inches square. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Yeah, she thought that she had heard there was a leaf die that fitted, but she's just got her supplies out and it doesn't. Well, thank you so much for checking, Belinda. I very much appreciate that. And maybe it was wishful thinking. It would be great to have a die that cuts out the leaves, but never mind. I'm sure we can get our paper snips onto it. And I'm really sorry, but that is my doorbell going. This is no good, is it? Let me leave those measurements there and I will be back as quickly as I can. This is live, guys. No, you stay there. Gosh, I'm dog wrangling as well. Dog wrangling, parcel wrangling. I'm so sorry, it's not very professional. I'm sure this happened last week as well. There's only me in the house, and the trouble with deliveries is if you don't answer the door, they very often take it away. And then certainly if you live where I live, you have to go and pick it up from a depot miles from anywhere. So if at all possible, I like to avoid that. I live in a relatively rural place, and it's not just up the road to go to the depot. All right, so hopefully you've seen all the information while I was out of the room. So these are the bits I've got. This, I said, is a very simple card. So if you've got a mixed pack of the Subtles card, that will give you your colours that I'm using. I've got 2 ink pads, Balmy Blue and Pear Pizzazz. Obviously the white card for stamping on, and then I have the stamp set as well. So I'm going to make a little birthday card. I've got the stamp that says wishes for a beautiful birthday. I want the 2 individual flower stamps. And I want the little double leaf. I've got all the stamps on blocks across my desk. And I can't see where the little leaf has gone. Oh, there we go. It's attached itself to something. You know how sticky these photopolymer stamps can be. And then for inside, I've got the one that says for a special person on a special day. I'm also going to bring in a foam mat, because with photopolymer stamps you always get a much better finish if you rest on something soft. So this is a Stampin' Pierce mat, which is in the catalogue. If you don't have one, you might have an old mouse mat. Do people use mouse mats anymore? We always used to. I don't think I've used a mouse mat in years. Anyway, if you've got one, that will work. Or even a couple of magazines, just something that gives you something that's slightly softer than a tabletop. So I'm going to start off by stamping Wishes for a Beautiful Birthday with Pear Pizzazz ink, just up towards the top corner there, like that. Then I'm going to switch to Balmy Blue and stamp my 2 flowers. I've played with these flowers. I don't actually think it matters too much which way round you put them. It just looks like the flowers are angled differently. But let's just pop that one there. And then I'm going to come in with the small flower in a minute. But first I'm going to stamp this double leaf image. That way I can place things more easily. And then Balmy Blue ink again with my second flower. And you know, I'm not quite sure where to put that now. I'm wondering, actually, I may not even use that. I think I'm going to call that it on there. I'm quite tempted to pop another leaf in. I was going to go with 2 flowers. No, I'm going to stop there. I think we're keeping this simple, so I'm going to keep it simple. Then I'm just going to layer these up now. If you are a beginner crafter, this is a very straightforward card for you to make. If you happen to have rhinestones or something like that in your stash, you can never go wrong by adding a couple of rhinestones. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave this very, very plain. Because if you are just starting out, it can be a little bit daunting. If you look at a catalogue and there's 1,000 things in there and you think, I don't know what to do with most of these. Stamping is actually very straightforward. Just ink and stamps and card. There we are. Then I have another piece of card for the inside. I've got my other word stamp here. Let's pop that in the middle. And then I'm going to take that small flower and just stamp along the bottom. I'm just turning it a little bit each time, so it's not totally a mirror image of, or an identical image, I should say, of the one next to it. There we are. And that is our card done. How long did that take me? 5 minutes. This would also work really well with the thank you stamp. Let me see if I can find that one. There we go. So it says thank you with all my heart. So that would work perfectly here instead. And actually, if you just want the thank you, you don't want the with all my heart bit, then you can just mask that off. Let me clean the stamp and then I'll show you how easy that is to do. I know some of you will know how to do this, but some of you may not. So you can use washi tape or you can use post-it notes. And it's just a case of covering over the parts of the stamp that you don't want to show. So if I just want thank you and I don't want with all my heart, then I'm going to put the tape over those words that I don't want. And sometimes you have to kind of tear your tape to fit a little bit. I've got a bit of a loop there that I do want to cover up. And I've got a loop that I don't want to cover up. I tore that washi tape. I think actually I maybe should have snipped a piece, a little bit more control over the size of it. There we are. This is funny washi tape. It's not Stampin' Up. Not that we do washi tape anymore, sadly. But it's very, I I don't know, it's kind of shiny paper. It's nice, but it's a bit weird. Okay, so if I turn that over, I don't know if you can see, I've taped on the back of all the bits of that stamp that I don't want. And now I'm going to ink my stamp up as usual. And then, very, very important, I'm going to remove the tape. You can use masking tape, you can use post-it notes. Because that tape has got ink on it, and it is really easy to think, oh yeah, I've done my masking. And then you ink your stamp, you get ink all over the tape, and then you stamp down. So now I've removed that, and then I can stamp, and I've just got the thank you. So that is a top tip, I think, if you want to use just some of the words on an image but not all of them. So let me pop that card back there while I clean off the stamps I've used, because I might need some of them again. So a simple card, 2 colours of ink, 2 colours of card, and some white card, and 1 stamp set. All right, so let's do something else. Now I have more pieces for this one because I thought, okay, I've shown you a simple card. Now let's do something that's a little bit more complicated. So I have an Evening Evergreen ink pad. I've got some of the 2021 to 2023 in colour opal rounds, which is ever such a mouthful, but they're very pretty embellishments. So we've got Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, Polished Pink, Pale Papaya and Fresh Freesia. Those are the colours in there, and they're going to coordinate with the pieces I've got here. So I've pre-cut these because it's not easy for me to get my die cutting machine under the camera. So I have a card base in Evening Evergreen, I'll give you the measurements in a minute, with a white insert, a layer of Soft Succulent, a layer of Evening Evergreen that I have die cut with that die with the hearts, and then I have a piece of Polished Pink which is very nearly the same size. I've just cut it fractionally smaller, so much or so little smaller that you can hardly tell the difference, but I just didn't want it to end up fractionally bigger, if that makes sense. So I'm going to layer that like that so those hearts really pop. Then I've die cut the frame with all the embossing on it from silver foil. And then I die cut using that die again from ordinary basic white card, and I'm just using the white oval. And then I die cut the patterned paper to get that flower from it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping on my white oval. And I'm going to do one of the birthday ones again. Perhaps we'll put for a special person on a special day on the front this time. Let's bring back my stamping mat. And I'm stamping an Evening Evergreen, and I haven't shown you the measurements properly. I'll do that as soon as I've stamped. So I'm putting this just slightly higher than the middle, which will give me space for the flowers. All right, so that is my stamping done for the front. Let me just make some space and pop that there for you, just so you've got the measurements. So my card base is just a standard card base from A4 card, which is 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored at 4. My soft succulent contrast card is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. I cut my heart frame from a piece that was just 1/4 of an inch smaller all round, 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. And then what I'm calling the heart background, which is my piece of polished pink. So I've said a teeny bit smaller than 3 1/2 by 5 1/4, just so I don't have any edges of pink poking out. And then my insert is the same size as my contrast card, 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And then the frame is cut from the silver foil specialty pack. This is beautiful foil. There's a shiny silver one, and then there are 2 colours of different kinds of silver, I should say. One of the silver's got a beautiful kind of purplish tinge to it. They're really lovely, but I've cut it from the kind of the shiny normal silver, if you like. So let's start assembling the card front. So first of all, I'm going to add the polished pink to my die cut frame. Now there's not much space at the edge here, so I'm just going to be a little bit careful with my glue there. I do want it glued at the edges, but the frame or the hearts come very nearly to the edge of the card layer. And I'm just going to pop some in the middle just to make sure this is well stuck down. There we are. Then that piece attaches to this. As always, using the multi-purpose glue means I can slide those card layers and get everything centralised, which makes life so much easier. I wouldn't be without this glue. So I picked my colours actually from the patterned paper. So my little piece that I die cut has got polished pink and soft succulent on it. And I don't think I've told you all the colours that are in it. I know I've got them here somewhere. Haha. I don't understand how I can lose things from one moment to the next on my desk. Well, I will no doubt... Oh no, here we go. I wrote them down. Here they are. Here they are. Soft succulent, polished pink, night of navy, balmy blue, blushing bride, crushed curry, and evening evergreen. So some of my absolute favourite colours are in this paper. So now I've got my silver frame. Actually, let me hold that up and hopefully you can see the embossing on this. I'll tilt it in the hope you can see it all. So there are lines around the aperture, and then there are also lines at right angles all the way around the edge. So I'm just going to centre that in there. That looks about right. And then glue my stamped oval in the middle. And it fits absolutely perfectly. We used to have oval dies and we don't anymore, so I'm really pleased to have some oval shapes. And then finally I have my little die cut piece to go at the bottom there, which I think I'm going to just pop up on some dimensionals. If I can find them on my newly tidy desk. There we are. And I'm just going to just gently use my bone folder to curl the edges of this, just so it's raised in the center, so it's convex, looking at it from this side. And that just helps to hide the dimensionals. I know most of that will disappear once it goes through the postal machinery, but it does look nicer if you make it that way. And yes, that's a lot of dimensionals. I always use a lot of dimensionals. They're not expensive, and I like to know that anything I'm raising up is completely supported, so it's not going to end up dented in the middle where there's no dimensional and it gets pressed down. So there we go. So I'm going to put this in the middle, but you can also, you know, offset it at the corner. It's a really nice little shape. It works in lots of different ways. There we are. And then finally, I just need some of my embellishments. Thank you, Belinda. So Belinda's talking, I believe, about the first card. She says it's beautifully simple. Thank you. I struggle a little bit with very simple cards because my natural tendency is to add a layer or add an embellishment. But it is nice sometimes just to do something that's very, very simple. And then I'm just going to add probably 3 of these little sparkly embellishments, just for a little bit of lift on the front there. Belinda says there's something satisfying about a virgin sheet of dimensionals. Do you know, there absolutely is. I don't know why that is, but you're completely right. So here's my insert. And I'm looking for my words for the middle, which are no doubt buried. There we go. Wishes for a beautiful birthday. Or, yeah, no, I am going to use that. I was wondering whether to pop celebrate in there, but I think I am going to use that one. Bring back my mat. And then I'm going to just stamp one of those large flowers using polished pink on the corner here. And actually I'm going to tuck my mat underneath because I want to go off the edge, and I don't want ink all over my mat because that will get onto something else, won't it? There we are. So Sandy likes the card. Thank you very much, Sandy. I'm glad you like it. I don't think you can make something ugly with these products. I think they're just so pretty. And I really, really love the way the frames all mix and match. Just think it's fantastic. Thank you for the hearts. Much appreciated. Ooh, I just slid that accidentally. Let's straighten that up again. That's better. Wishes for a beautiful birthday. So there we are. That's a more embellished card, but not a difficult one. The dies do all the hard work on this. And then finally, I have a couple more cards to show you. So this one goes, if anything, even a step further in terms of embellishment. I've got lots and lots and lots of die cuts on this, and I've made a shaker card. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. There's not too much reflection of that. I do love a shaker card. So for this one, let me get something to point with. I've got a soft succulent card base, a layer of patterned paper. Then I've die cut 2 of the frames. That's that really ornate one, and then that's the one I've just used that was in silver. from white card. I die cut this embellished frame again from window sheet and just used the oval in the middle. I did find I needed to send it through my machine a few times because the window sheet is really tough. And then I glued the two frames together and glued the window sheet to the back of the frames. And then I turned the frames upside down and used some of this fantastic foam adhesive strip. And actually, let me grab the dies, and I won't stick it on there, but I'll kind of show you what I did. So that's my big frame upside down. That's my smaller frame, which is on the front. So it looks like that on the back, except obviously these are dies, but they were in white card. Let's pop that next to it so you can see what I'm talking about. And then using these foam adhesive strips, they're like dimensionals but in strips, and they're actually a little bit deeper. I then just stuck this, my window sheet was on there, all the way around the edge of the window sheet, like that, all the way round. And the foam tape is sticky on both sides, so I removed the backing paper for the side that was going to stick down onto the frame, and I left it on until I put my shaking elements inside. And for those I used the sequins. There is a fantastic sequin assortment in the main catalogue, the annual catalogue, on the embellishments page, and you get 3 drums of sequins, and they're not just sequins, they've got all kinds of things in them. So this has got little hexagon sequins with no holes. It's got 2 sizes of pearl sequins. It's got pink sequins, silver sequins, gold sequins, little diamante gems and pearl gems as well. There's absolutely all kinds in there, which makes for the most gorgeous shaker assortment. And when you get these, you get a pack that are pink, a pack that are basically green, and a pack that are blue. They are absolutely beautiful. You can pick bits out individually and glue them down, or you can use a whole selection for your shaky bits and pieces. So with my frame upside down, my foam tape around it, I pop my sequins in, and then I put another white piece, which again had come out of the centre of this die. So I cut this in white, used the frame on the outside, used the oval on the back, and that was stuck to the other side of the foam tape. So I made a little box, like a little shaker box, which I could then just glue down onto my card. So it's very straightforward. And then I went mad with my die cutting. So I dug out some gold foil. I've got evening evergreen card and soft succulent card here. And I put adhesive sheet on the back of all of them, and then just cut lots of pieces and then just played around with them until I liked the arrangement. Then I stamped and coloured the large and the small flower, and I added a gold pearl to the centre of them. These are from the Festive Pearls pack. And then my finishing touch was a double looped bow. This is the white seam binding ribbon, which I have coloured with my soft succulent Stampin' Blend marker. I do that a lot with this ribbon, then I can have it any colour I like. And then inside it just says wishes for a beautiful birthday, and I've stamped the flower in the corner. So thank you for those of you that like that. I'm really pleased with this one, I must say, and I'm just going to drink some tea before I show you the final card. Now, those of you on my team, Sandy, I'm talking about you, and anybody else who might be lurking there or watching this afterwards on the replay, this is one of the team projects that's coming up. So if you don't want to see it, look away from your screen now. But I did want to show you because I think it really shows how this paper can cross over to being a Christmas design. So here it comes. If you're wanting to look away, you need to look away. So lots of you know that I really like red and green and gold at Christmas. So that's what I've gone with here. Sandy's not looking. I'll tell you when you can look back, Sandy. So the frame is this one cut from gold foil. The inner frame is this one cut from green. And then I cut this one from white again, and I used the center oval here, which I have stamped. Now I don't have the Christmas stamp set that goes with this, so I've just used Brightest Glow, but you've got a really nice big space there to work with. Once again, I die cut some of these pieces and glued them down. I've used the gold pearls again. This is the same seam binding ribbon, but this time I've coloured it Cherry Cobbler. And this paper is this design. You can see I've only got the scraps left. I can't find the bigger piece. I did show you a bigger piece earlier, didn't I? That's somewhere else. Never mind. And I've coloured these berries to make them a little bit more festive. So I think this really works as a Christmas card. Inside I've coloured another piece of the paper, and that's another stamp from the Brightest Glow set. So I'll give you a moment to look at that. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like that one. And then I'll move it. Don't look yet, Sandy, but it won't be long. Okay, I'm going to put this away. All right, Sandy, it's safe to look. So Sandy's in my team, and we will be doing that as one of the projects at my forthcoming team meeting. There is still time to join my team, and if you were to do it quickly, you would be able to join in that team meeting as well. Your first one is free. We always make 3 projects. We have a lot of fun chatting together. We show projects we've made. And if that's something you're interested in, then just get in touch with me. You can contact me via my Facebook page or email me at handmadeathome@hotmail.co.uk. And I've usually got a little thing to put here, but that's gone walkabout too. I must stop tidying my desk. It's always fatal, isn't it? So here are 3 of the 4 cards I've shown, just so that Sandy can see what I've got here. So this is a really simple stamped card. Very quick and easy, and if you need a stack of cards, then that would be a good design. And of course you can change the colours and it will look different. This one's a little bit more involved, with 2 of the different frames die cut and the patterned paper die cut as well. And then this one, I pulled out all the stops. I've used 2 of the frames, lots of the foliage, dies that cut out stamped images. I've used the patterned paper, I've coloured my ribbon, and I've made a shaker card. So this is a fabulous collection of products. I really recommend them. I love them. There's, you know, lots more I know I'm going to really enjoy making with them. So the stamps and dies that I showed you at the start are going to be available right through into next year, to the end of the January to June mini catalogue. However, if you would like the Christmas stamp set, if you'd like the patterned paper, or if you like the look of those gold swirl embellishments, get them as soon as you can. They are only available while stocks last, and they will definitely not be available after the 4th of January. Right, time for me to move the camera back up so I can say goodbye to you. An hour has absolutely flown by, as it always seems to on a Friday. I reckon it's the quickest hour of the week. I'm just going to cover you over so that I don't make you too dizzy. And then I will move everything up. And hopefully you'll be able to see me. Let's swivel that. There we are. Okay, I'm back again. We make sure there are no final comments that I've missed. Thank you, Andriana. Thank you to all of you who liked the project. I'm glad I've shown you some things that you enjoyed, and I hope I've inspired you, whether or not you've got this set yet. I don't know what I'm doing next week. I'm sorry. Some weeks I've managed to plan ahead, and some weeks I haven't, and this is one of those weeks I haven't. I will do a Facebook event at some point next week, though, to give you some advance notice of what I'll be covering next week. And until then, I'm going to really look forward to seeing you again next week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and whether you've watched me live or whether you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much indeed. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.